Ding dong. We are live. I am live. I say we as if BeerNative was more than one person. Occasionally there is guests, but mostly it's just this guy. My name is Steve Jaguar, and welcome to another BeerNative beer review. Boom. I showed it to you if you tuned in yesterday while I was reviewing what was a good but not outstanding beer that I got at Morrisons. It was good, not gonna lie. Gave it a 3 point on it. But today I did showcase that there was 3 new ones that showed up at the Morrisons. And this one's particularly interesting just because it has a good story. Any beer that's got a good story and got good art, I'm in. The beer can be okay, and I'm still going to probably think it's pretty good. I might buy it again. And the beer in question, of course, is Northern Monks. Another Faith in Futures. Oh, look at that sweating. Look at the art. And that's what's important. This is a Smug double dry hop IPA. No other details are available. Each can of this beer includes a donation to our Faith and Futures Foundation. You're drinking to help communities, etc., etc. What's in it? I don't know. What's in the box? No clue. I'm going to keep this one relatively quick because I've had so many Northern Monk beers on the show. They're just a great brewery. Their Patreon subscription gives you all sorts of really interesting experimental beers all the time. I used to be a subscriber to most subscriptions, but that was definitely one of my favorites when I was doing that one. The Faith and Futures Foundation. Well, while we're talking about it, real quick, let's take a look at that. Is they choose good causes. This is the evolution of it, but you can see the charity or community project. They release a beer in collaboration, and they show how much that they've made. I think it's relatively approximate. Those are pretty even amounts. It goes into the Faith and Futures Foundation, and they find good causes, and they donate money to them. This is the beer. It was less than $3.75, I think, at Morrisons. I think it was $3.25, very much like the one I had yesterday. So what a bargain, right? 6% double dry hop IPA. We're expecting a nose full of something very hoppy and aromatic. We don't know what hops are in it. Maybe I can hazard a guess. I might just do that, And if you're wondering, what's the Smug collaboration? If you're new to Northern Monk, maybe even if you're old to Northern Monk, you might not have a clue what that little Smug signature means. And it's a reference to the art. Northern Monk has released a ton of Smug artwork. And if you take a look here, it's rather scully and distinctive. Looks almost like the kind of art you'd see on the bottom of a skateboard deck. Series 31 Smug, originally from Australia and now lives in Scotland for almost 20 years. Almost very similar sort of immigration package to myself. Originally born in Canada, have been living here for 24 years in the United Kingdom. But check out all these original artworks, really kind of freaky. The Church of Smug Life. So a lot of interesting things you can get out of this from Smug. And I don't know if that's the charity, but I appreciate the fact that this artist produces pretty stellar artwork for beer. For why? I don't know. Perhaps just to promote his starving artist lifestyle. I think it's a really pretty amazing thing. And to get into a supermarket, well, come on. That's distribution at scale, right? That's what distribution's all about. So let's pour it out and see if we like it. I'm pretty excited. I love 6%. Feels like that sweet spot for an IPA, right? 6.62. I don't know. I've got a friend who once said 6.8 is the best percentage. Tell me if you're watching and you've got a particular opinion, throw something down in the comments. What's the perfect percentage for an IPA? It's very, very, very arguable. Probably criminal. I'm pouring this into a Guinness glass. If you are anti-establishment, you'll probably be happy with the fact that I almost definitely stole this glass. I have no memory of where, but who pays for a Guinness glass, right? They're everywhere. Oh, why don't I just do this just for kicks and save myself the trouble? I will attempt to, without even trying, without even drinking it. There we go. Split the E. Yay! All right, great. Let's not have to guzzle this thing. Ooh, it's a little soapy and a little lemony off the start. Bit of passion fruit too. I like beers that taste like passion fruit. Super frothy. I didn't try and do that. I gave it a relatively gentle pour into a glass that I had actually washed with water beforehand. So didn't have a lot of excess friction on the outside, which can often create an unnecessarily large head. Just rinsing the glass, it makes a huge difference. Let's give it a little taste. Oh, it's bitter. It's much. It's a better bitter. Better bitter. That's fun to say than the one yesterday. It's got a little bit of a piney back note. It's just kind of tastes like Citra. It doesn't have the fruitiness of Mosaic. It's just a straight up Citra. It's got a bit of a haze to it too. So check that out. Not very lactosey though. It's not sweet. Probably just oaty. I don't know if that's in the ingredients or not. Relatively innocuous, slightly fruity, a little bit more mandarin when you get it in your face. It's pretty good, but it's not great. Again, a little bit like yesterday's, but almost like a flip side. Yesterday's was good, but it was really here we go. Sorry, just to interrupt myself. So I heard 6.8, and Mersey Beers is confirming 6.6 to 7.2. I tend to go just below that. I don't know why. It's one of those things. And a little bit of additional information about Smug. Originally worked in the Patience product. Amazing. So this beer is it's kind of falling into a spot where I'm not even sure when I'd want it, but it tastes all right. It's got a little bit of backbone to it. It's got a very, very weak floral and fruity finish, but it's not bad. It's just not something that I'm not locking it in here going, supermarket, must go back, buy 6 of these. It's just not happening. It's got zero dank. It's got a little bit of a slight sour twist to it, which is where I think I pulled a little bit of mandarin out. But otherwise, it feels a little, I don't know what to call it, inert in terms of being outstanding or differentiating itself from things that they have sitting right next to it. For example, the transient that I think I reviewed as potentially my favorite supermarket beer that I also got from Morrisons. What a standout beer that was. This one, it's just kind of like, I think I would really embrace the Northern Monk, not just Northern Monk, but even like Siren was the one I did yesterday. I think it would be okay if they just maybe eased off on the exceptional art, which is what makes people buy beer, including me, and occasionally produce something that is a bit edgy, but the economics of doing that don't add up. So not going to expect that in the near future, right? Why would I? But this one's pretty good. It's a maybe. I think as it changes temperature, and I probably never said this about an IPA or a beer that should be cold. I feel like it might be a little bit better not as cold. I know it's messed up, but some of this is going to rise and it's going to become a little bit, I think, a little juicier. I don't know. One last sip, just because I know it's a little warmer. I'm halfway through. It's even got a little bit of that. I don't want to say black tea or mint, but that black tea parsley kind of, that strange bitter that is. I'm blanking on what I associate black tea with. I think it was actually even in the one yesterday, which is interesting that that's a thing. Which is a bitter I like, but I just really want that backed up by something that has a bit of a stone fruity punch, particularly with the color that it's presenting itself with. Otherwise, pretty good beer, kind of a 3.5 out of 5 sort of deal, just somewhere between the upper 6s and lower 7s out of 10. I think it's worth going in and trying. I said the same thing yesterday. If you're going into Morrisons and they have that buy 3 beers and then you get the 4th one free, definitely a contender, depending on your own palate as to whether that's worthwhile. So I think totally do that and see if it's one that really floats your boat. Other than that, it's a great supermarket beer. Like, I didn't have to go to Northern Monk and buy it. it is outstanding as a supermarket beer. So I'm going to leave you with that. Mersey Beers, thanks once again for joining. I have to find you at a beer festival in the near future. If you know anything that's happening in the next month of October, I'm going to be around. Make a suggestion, ping me on Facebook or whatever it is. Any method you know how to get a hold of me, and I will do my best to get there. Other than that, I'm going to sign off. Once again, Steve Jagger. This is a BeerNative beer review. It's a pleasure to be back 2 days in a row. It's been a long time since I've done this. And be better.